Hello, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to our final MotoGP round ahead of our 3-week summer break. We are back in Brno, the first time since 2020 that the world's most exciting sports lands in the Czech Republic at this magnificent venue, just over 5 kilometres in length. It goes up, it goes down, it goes left and it goes right. I know, like most circuits, but just with a little bit more jazz than other places. They're described by a couple of riders yesterday as Mugello-esque, the Czech Mugello, we shall call it from now on. And as you can see, the number one is back in business as well. Jorge Martin, for the first time since the Qatar Grand Prix, is back out on track and he is fighting fit. Martin, of course, yesterday confirming that he will be staying in black in 2026. That contract dispute officially now done. He's decided he will be staying with Aprilia. The performances of late of Marco Bezzecchi, enough, he says, to convince him to stay where he is and see out the 2-year deal that he signed in Mugello last year. And he started off this morning on his return with 17th overall, but it was the kind of session you would hate if you, A, are trying to find your feet again, and B, are just needing kilometres and laps out on track. It started wet, then it was raining a little bit more, then it dried out, and it was, as Lucio Cecchinello was describing, too dry for wet, but too wet for dry, if you know what I mean, in the sort of mid part of that session, which was slightly problematic, and it's why we didn't see many riders out on track. One of the riders we didn't see for a prolonged period was Marquez. It was the third time lucky for the man who has complete control of the World Championship, giving everybody a chance this weekend, maybe. Not sure exactly what the issue was. They had to change the fuel tank, amongst other things as well, but he eventually got it sorted, as we see Jorge having his first debrief with Massimo Rivola here after the opening session of the weekend. I wonder what these two are saying to each other here. It's all smiles, but I'll see. It's all okay. Massimo, all okay? Happy with the first session of the weekend? He is. Thumbs up. As we see Jorge now making his way up towards his office. Let's see if we can just squeeze here. And just before he dives up, we can grab a very quick word with Jorge just to see if he's happy with his return. As you can see, he's just signing a few autographs here, getting a few photos with fans as well. Jorge, happy with that? Good to be back?
Yeah, it's a bit that they took out my lap, but yeah, I felt good. I think close to my teammate, 2 tenths from Marco. I think it's a good start. Now we need to make some adjustments, and hopefully the track will improve, because I was really scared because of the damp patches. So really happy to be back.
Good to see you back out there. There we go, Jorge officially getting the number one back in action. You can see, look at the details on the boots here. Small things that make a difference. The 2 stars to signify the fact that he is a Moto3 and a MotoGP world champion, and the cycling-esque world champion stripes that show that he is still the number one and he is still the man to beat. Marc Marquez is certainly romping his way towards that 7th MotoGP crown, but for the moment the number one remains with Jorge Martin. As we see, Marco Bezzecchi making his way through as well. I'm sure Bez was happy with his day's work. Up towards the office for him to get changed and get ready. A content Marco Bezzecchi, I see, as we got a look at both Aprilia riders there after that opening session of the weekend. Good to grab the very first words from Jorge Martin post his MotoGP return as well. And he seemed quite happy. Good energy about him, as you can see. That's one thing I noticed yesterday as well, and you might be able to see as well, just how strong his face looks. I mean, he's clearly lost a lot of weight in his face. He's been doing a ridiculous amount of cycling over the past 4 weeks and 5 weeks. He's got a very good training partner in Aleix Espargaro, who, of course, is now a professional cyclist, and he's been going out and basically been towed around by Aleix. And you can tell as well, like, just his general demeanour and his general figure is as fit as I have ever seen him in the paddock. He is very, very slim, and he is raring to go. He's at 100% fitness as well for the first time in a very long time, for the first time since the start of the year. Because, of course, when he made that return in Qatar. He was nowhere near 100% fit, struggling with the hand injury, but he was able to battle his way through. And of course, the crash there with Fabio Di Antonio, he said close to tears yesterday, and you can understand why as well, because he said it's very difficult for anyone to understand what it's like to be that close to the worst possible scenario. He was in ICU for a couple of days as well, with obviously the collapsed lung needing some real care. So the fact that he's been able to battle back through and to get to the point where he is making his return today is a huge milestone for Jorge Martin. And it was interesting how he was describing that no one can really know the position I was in. No one can really understand just how dark of a place it was at times as well. And I know that he gets a lot of criticism for the decisions that he tried to make over the past couple of months, and maybe that coming from ill advice. Who knows? We'll never know the understanding, or maybe with time he will open up a little bit more and give us a full idea of it. But I think it's worth giving him a little bit of sympathy as well, that in the position that he was in, he said there was the valid clause there, which we all know about, and it's been spoken about so often. And it's very easy for people at home, people in the garage, people in the paddock to say, just look at the Aprilia. You're going to be fast. You're going to feel comfortable. But Jorge's a world champion, and he had that sort of, to be a world champion, you've got to have that ego, you've got to have that confidence in yourself to say, no one can tell me how I'm going to feel. I need to try it myself, which is why he went to Aprilia and asked for an extension on that clause. And when Aprilia said, no, we're not going to extend it, we're not going to give you the chance to try it for yourself, then it put his back up a little bit. And I think it would me as well, because he's got that sort of arrogance and that swagger of no one's going to tell me how I'm supposed to feel. I need to work it out for myself. And I can understand why he got frustrated over that and why decisions were made as a result of that. But everything has been sorted out, and he's going to be remaining in black next year. Right, Jorge Martin is back. We've covered it off. We've heard from him. I've given my little opinion on why I think that we should give him a little bit more sympathy and a little bit more grace. Jorge Martin, he's a fantastic rider, one of the most explosive and exciting that we've seen in MotoGP history. He's certainly up there with Marc Marquez for his ability to be explosive and to put one lap time together. So I think we should be all very happy that he's back, and give him a little bit of sympathy for the situation that he found himself in and the decisions that he made as a result of that. And he held his hands up as well and said, I was only doing what I felt was right for my career. Right, as we see Alex Marquez down here, I'm hoping that this gentleman here is going to take the longest selfie ever. He didn't. He took 2 seconds and the opportunity is gone. But anyway, we'll catch up with Alex later on as he gives a wave to the camera, now making his way up the stairs for his office, which is there on the left-hand side, along with Fermin Aldeguer as well. It was an interesting one for Alex. He was one of the first riders out there to try the dry tyres, which in the end everyone settled on. As we see, Marc Marquez, potentially a little bit frustrated, you would have to say, after that one. As we said, it was 2 or 3 different attempts to try and get things going, but eventually got going and was fastest in the end, but certainly wouldn't have been a session that he was really happy with. So we'll see whether that will interrupt his prep for the remainder of the weekend. I would say no, because it was iffy conditions. Mark, difficult session. Do you know what happened exactly?
I mean, they are checking, but it looks like a very small thing that they already fixed. So luckily it was like a strange session for everybody because mixed conditions. But everything fixed on the second bike, and on the dry bike I felt okay.
Ready to rock and roll this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. There we go. As ever, he was never going to tell us exactly what the problem was. Potentially electronics. I think David Tardoxi hinted at the fact that there may well have been a water temperature warning that came on the dashboard that stopped him initially, but then I'm not sure whether that was the case because they changed the fuel tank, potentially thinking it was a fuel pump issue, but even though they'd swapped the fuel tank across for another one, they were still having the same problems of not able to get the bike started. It was clearly something electronic. Mark saying he thinks they've managed to find out exactly what the issue was, and as he said, he was fast on the dry bike anyway, and it was a session where no one was really able to take a step forward in terms of data and understanding of the track ahead of what he's got anyway. So if you're going to have a problem and you're going to miss half a session, then that is absolutely the sort of session you want that to happen in. And I mean, he was fastest, so there's no point saying that he's on the back foot. He's going to struggle because he isn't, and he's going to be the huge favourite to go and take pole position, sprint win, and Grand Prix win for yet another weekend over the course of the weekend. You'd be shocked if he isn't. Right, one man I want to try and grab a word with, if we can, further down in this direction, is Jack Miller, second. And Jack, as ever, happy to be the test dummy, shall we say. Everyone sits in the back of the box, looks left, looks right, and gives Jack a little prod in the ribs and said, come on, you be the first one to go out on slicks, as he always is, just to test what things are like. And Jack, ever the entertainer, ever the showman, was more than happy to go out and do that. And we saw he was pretty happy with his performances because he was pulling a couple of tricks on the way in. Firstly, a nice little stand-up wheelie. Then we're hoping for a little stop here, but in fact, are we allowed to do it? We're on social media. We're fast forward feelers. I'm not going to do the hand gesture, but I believe that's the best way to describe it. One of our colleagues in pit lane was on the receiving end of Jack flicking the bird at them. A very Jack Miller style thing to do. And I have to say, I'm the proud recipient of a Jack Miller bird flicking from down the years. He likes to be the troublemaker, doesn't he? So I'm not sure, has he already exited? I'm trying to see here. This gentleman, has Jack been and gone? Is he upstairs? Okay, lovely. We might see in a second. How are you, sir? All good?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Are you a Jack Miller fan?
Yes, Czech Miller fan.
Oh, wow. Is it?
Tattoo,
Oh, wow. A tattoo from Texas last year. Amazing. Yeah, you are a big Jack Miller fan. Well, what's your name, sir?
Thank you. My name is Rocco.
Rocco. Jack, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I love that. That is proper dedication. The Jack Miller tattoo there from Texas last year. Are you from Czech Republic?
Germany.
From Germany. Where in Germany? Berlin, Munich, Stuttgart?
Leipzig.
Okay, close to the Saxon ring then. Well, great to see you, Rocco. Great to see you. That is what we call dedication. A big fan is Rocco with a signature on his right arm. It looks as though Jack is in there recovering, resting up. So we'll finish off our little walk down in this direction to see if there is anybody else that may well be popping out and wants to give us a little word and wants to have a quick chat with us to see how we're doing. There's no Alex Rins. There's no Fabio Quartararo. There's no Augusto Fernandez, who is here this weekend as part of the Yamaha wild card. So with that, I'll bid you a fond farewell. Conditions are looking good. I don't think we're expecting any more rain throughout the rest of the weekend. Blue skies starting to show, so we should have ourselves a dry afternoon, let's hope. I'm sure everyone is hoping for that, so we can see really where everyone is going to be this weekend. It's difficult to say at this current moment who the circuit might suit, who we think might be having a good weekend, who might struggle. I think it's obviously going to be the usual contenders up there, especially with the lack of dry track time. Could the likes of Luca Marini, Miguel Oliveira use the testing knowledge from a couple of weeks ago to their advantage? We'll have to wait and see. But as we can see, under blue-ish skies, we thank you for your company here on Inside the Paddock and remind you that we'll be back with you same time tomorrow for all of the latest up-to-date expert analysis and reaction from MotoGP qualifying for the first time in the Czech Republic since 2020. Not a bad Inside the Paddock, that one. Jorge Martin's exclusive first words post-MotoGP return and the World Championship leader Marc Marquez. It's just what we do on Inside the Paddock. This is why you should tune in more often. We'll see you tomorrow.